Hello and welcome back to another edition of the Coaches Show. I'm Nick Marek, joined alongside head coach Dan Wildfong of the Lone Star Brahmas. Coach, how you doing?
I'm doing great.
I think everybody's getting geared up for this weekend, the second weekend here at home at NITech Sports Center. What's kind of been the vibe in the locker room and on this team?
Obviously we take it week at a time. Odessa, obviously has been on the road the whole time. They haven't had a home game, so I don't think their record really matches what kind of team they are. But we got to be prepared and ready to go. And any team in the Southern Division is a good team, so we got to make sure we get the 2 points.
What did you think of the team's performance last weekend against Amarillo? I mean, obviously we saw a huge improvement on the power play. Only 6 power play goals coming into that weekend, and having 5 this past weekend against Amarillo.
Yeah, I think we made a few adjustments to them. That obviously it worked, but I think we got traffic in front of the net, and I don't care what level you're at. If the goalie can see it at higher levels, they're going to stop it. And we started getting into some dirty areas where the goalie wasn't seeing it, and we really haven't had second and third opportunities. And we finally got some of those. A couple deflected in off Carreras, and he told me, he goes, I got lucky, and I was like, that's not luck. When you go to those areas, goals will go in off you, and you're putting yourself in that position to get those goals.
Eric's guy, we're going to have 2 on the player spotlight coming up after the break. But just looking at the power play units, too, and how everything you kind of assemble this team, what kind of goes through your mind to find the right combinations?
Obviously, we have probably every guy on this team could play power play. That's what's difficult about managing this team this year compared to maybe last year or other teams I've had.
It's a nice problem to have.
Yeah, it is. It is, but it isn't. Everyone wants to be out there on the power play, and the teams that really win are the teams that buy in and say, "Listen, I still, when I get my opportunity, I'm going to go out there and do everything I can to stay on that power play." But I know guys want to be on that power play, and we got 2 really good units that they're just starting to click. I think it's it was on the verge of breaking out, and it did obviously last weekend. Hopefully, we can continue to do that.
And now, not to be overlooked either, that starting this season, the veterans obviously playing a big role in where the Brahmas are today. But now some of the younger players, in terms of the age group, who are on this Brahmas team, are definitely starting to come out and really fit in with this team and showing that they could dominate a high level as well. What's that been like from a coaching standpoint to see some of these younger players kind of rise to the occasion?
Well, I think that's what it's all about, as development. This is the league of opportunity, and I think when you have your older players are playing as hard as I feel our players are, it really shows the younger players this is what I have to do to be successful. And the older players are being successful, most of them. And the younger players, if they don't keep up with the older players, they sink. And I really see guys like Vandy and Bud Madej and, Steven Steener's still one of our younger guys. We had him last year. He's a veteran guy for us, but, those guys are really doing a nice job. I could mention probably about 3 or 4 guys are doing a really good job, but it's nice to see them starting to get success after their hard work.
Is it nice, too, from a coaching standpoint that, looking at this team, you kind of mentioned that competitiveness not only on the special teams, but also this team can be competitive throughout a game. If somebody's not performing, you have a guy just waiting that could take up his pot, no problem.
Yeah, we talk about that a lot, and it's very hard. Like, I think one of the hardest things for me is to sit anyone out, because some of these guys could probably be a top third line or a second, third line, maybe a first line guy in other places, and we feel when they're sitting out, it's really, it gives them that drive to say, listen, you're either on board and you got to keep working through it. And it's a mental challenge, because when you go play Division I hockey or Division III hockey, you don't start on the first and second line. You just don't. And it's a mental challenge for some of these guys. It's tough on me to sit these guys out. I don't want to sit them out. It's tough. Potter and I keep looking at each other like, who are we going to sit out this weekend? Because they're all working hard in practice. They're all battling and competing. They all can shoot. They all can pass. And it's really it comes down to just little details.
So it seems like just having that extra offseason really helped put this team together.
Yeah, definitely. I think, Jeff Potter's done a great job. You know how much work he puts into it. He knows every player that plays in North America. So it's nice to have him help with getting a great team in this year, and he's worked at it. It doesn't happen overnight, and our ownership group allows us to go on these scouting trips, and without that, we really can't have the team we do. So we can't thank Frank and Sal enough for that too.
And, looking for this weekend too, the Jackalopes in town again, Friday, Saturday night, both nights, 7:30 here in North Richland Hills, Texas. Looking at the tape, I mean, the Hausinger brothers are two guys that stand out, in Kenny and Christian. Also, Derek Brown, a big point scorer for the Jackalopes. What have you kind of focused on with the team and how to shut down those playmakers?
Well, we obviously are focusing a little on us. We know that who the top players are out there. We definitely have to have some matchups against our top guys. But I feel like we really preach playoff hockey and team defense, and I really don't see us throwing out any lines that are going to really hurt us in a big matchup, away from those. Because we're preaching it all the time, back pressure, D first, we're a D first team. That's the mentality that we want to win a championship with.
Well, the Brahmas have obviously been a successful hockey club, but it's not always about hockey. We have some big events this weekend, too. Starting first, the Brahmas annual golf invitational. I know it's been a big thing that you've been excited for this season. Are you finally ready to go out to Sky Creek and have some fun?
Yeah, it's great. Like, what a great course, great venue to have this at. Chad Seaworth in our office, and just put in a lot of time getting this thing going as well. I know you have, and Susan. Our staff has really worked hard to put on a great event, and we can't thank the fans. Like, we got a lot of people sign up at the last minute. I think we sold out, obviously, and it's just going to be a great event for everyone to get out and actually relax and get to know the players. And I think it's going to be an unbelievable day too. I think it's supposed to be 83 degrees, so who wouldn't want to go play golf and get to know a few Brahma players?
Exactly. Actually, have some Brahmas possibly caddying for the teams too that are making it out. But if, in case you didn't make the golf invitational, there's still a big event going on too. Boo in the Zoo, nice little fun Halloween-y type theme over at the Fort Worth Zoo. I know a couple players will be out there both Friday afternoon and maybe even a couple on Sunday. Talk about just from a community aspect, how engaged this team really wants to be.
Well, we got to make it mandatory for our players to at least do an hour community service a week. And I know that's not a ton, but we would like to even get more. That's just minimum that they have to do. They're either with our youth program, they're out at schools talking, or they're out doing things at Boo at the Zoo, or I really think it's important that they stay grounded and understand how privileged they are to play this game, and we got to give back. And I think our guys really understand that. I really love coaching this group. Like, they're a fun group. They work hard on the ice. They're great kids off the ice, and they're just trying to accomplish their dream is to get a Division I scholarship.
Well, based on the home opening weekend, too, I think the fans had quite a bit of fun. But this weekend, Friday and Saturday night, 7:30 games against the Odessa Jackalopes. Be sure to come out here to the NITEC Sports Center. But we're going to take a break on the Coaches Show. When we come back, we're going to have Eric Carreras in the Player Spotlight.
All of your Brahmas action can be viewed live and on demand at fasthockey.com. Simply create an account, buy game credits, and watch your Lone Star Brahmas live.
For gourmet pizza and Italian cuisine, call Zaroma's Bar and Grill. Zaroma's only uses the freshest ingredients. Located inside the NITEC Sports Center, Zaroma is your one-stop shop for food, friends, and Lone Star Brahmas watching parties. Visit www.zaroma.net for menu, directions, and delivery information.
Welcome back to the Lone Star Brahmas Coaches Show. Here in the Players Spotlight, I have Eric Carreras, forward from Westchester, Pennsylvania. Eric, how are you doing today?
Good, how are you?
Doing very well. Obviously, the team's got to be thrilled. They went on the road against Amarillo, off to a pretty hot start here in October, and there's 2 more home games this weekend, Friday and Saturday, to close out the month of October. What was it like to pick up that win and split the series against Amarillo last weekend?
It was huge just to get the 2 points after the 2-1 loss on Friday night, but we played a pretty good game Saturday night, and it's good to get it going for this weekend too.
And then looking back at that win on Saturday, 7-2 the final in that. Obviously, you were a big reason for that in the power play. Ended up with 4 power play goals that weekend. What's been clicking with this power play?
I think it's just we all play a similar style, so we have it set up where each guy wants to be. But if it gets like turned around or we're in different positions, it's not a big deal. We kind of just fit in wherever.
Is that not a problem for you to adjust on the fly?
No, it's pretty easy, especially with Oscar and Ludwig. They adjust well too.
And now, going off that, what's it actually like playing with them? Not only an even strength, but also on the power play. I mean, you pretty much you're the American throwing the sweetest line.
Yeah, no, it's actually really easy. You would think they're coming from a different country, they wouldn't understand, but their English is what is really good too, so it makes communication easy. But we play similar styles, so kind of read off where each other going or what they like to do, and it's pretty easy.
So there's not much of a language barrier to say between the three of you.
No, not really. Nope.
It's just all just kind of come down to hockey sense. You know what? You just kind of have that awareness on the ice to know where your teammate's going to be.
Exactly. Yeah.
Now, really looking forward to this weekend. Odessa's, another big opponent on the road. Kind of records aside, because those always shape out later in the season. I know teams never really look at them, but this is an Odessa team that knows how to score. How much during practice have you guys focused on kind of preparing for that offensive attack from Odessa?
A decent amount. We were doing some system stuff to, kind of in our defensive zone, offensive zone, forecheck, all that. But we know they're a really good offensive team. They've got some really good players on the forward, so we just have to just take it as it is and play them defensively very strong.
Now, is the hype around the locker room to obviously come up with the 4 points this weekend and stay undefeated here at home?
Mm-hmm. Yep.
And then speaking of home stretch, there is 9 straight home games just coming up here throughout November. I mean, what's that like from a team aspect, from going on the road early in the season and now all of a sudden, hey, I don't have to worry about the long bus trips and I could just focus on staying home with my billet family and enjoying the team?
Yeah, it's pretty nice. It was actually nice going away early in the year, too. You get to bond and get to know each other better. But having almost a month home, it's pretty nice, too, so you don't have to worry about getting somewhere or coming back and adjusting. It's easy to just come to practice and you have a 10-minute drive or however far it is, so it's easy.
And speaking of that, Bond, now having a month and a half or so with the team, how do you feel the team's been clicking off the ice? What's the mentality, and what's really driving this team?
I think pretty much everyone gets along, so it's not like there's any, like cliques or groups or whatever. It's everyone kind of hangs out. We always do the movie nights and stuff like that, so it's different from playing AAA to here because everyone's always together. So
it definitely is well-knit team. That's what Sebastian Vidmar made it seem as well last week in the coaches show. But let's go into a little bit of your past. You kind of mentioned it up. I mean, native of West Chester, Pennsylvania. Mm-hmm. You come out here. You were there 4 years with the Philly Junior Flyers organization in the Tier 1 EHL, and now you're in the NAHL. What's the biggest difference from a hockey standpoint to transition from those two leagues?
The systems mainly. We always had like a forecheck, but it never really changed during the games in 18U and 16s. But here it changes pretty often. So, but other than that, it's that and the fans. Those are the two big differences.
How are the fans on game nights? And what goes through your mind as a player? Because I mean, the fans are loud, and they always wonder. I wonder how much the players really it hits in their head. Do they kind of blank it out, or is this something that when I hear the crowd pumped, I'm going to play that much harder?
Yeah, in the beginning of the game, you hear them more because you haven't really gotten into the game yet. But as the game goes along, you kind of you adjust to it and you get used to it, but you kind of get in the zone and you get to playing. But for the preseason game, I didn't know what to expect for it, and it was sold out. I was like, holy crap, damn, that's a lot of people.
From kind of from that fan base, then I mean, coming from your past in the Tier 1 EHL, mm-hmm. I mean, big offensive production there, and already early on, I mean, I'm expecting you're becoming a fan favorite now because everybody loves seeing goal scorers. What's that like to see that offensive game transition from one league to the next?
It's nice because you're having individual success, but also the guys you're playing with are having success. Like the guys on my league last year, one's in the USHL, one's on Johnstown. So it's not like it's just me or it's just everyone kind of has a role in the line, and it's nice to see other guys succeeding too.
So the team's kind of gelled then in both places.
Yep.
So quick hits here. Obviously the Texas State Fair just wrapped up. Did you guys actually get a chance to go out there?
No, I didn't. We were gonna go out with my billets, but the one night we were gonna, they wanted to stay home and make dinner. So.
Ah man, no chance to see Big Tex.
Nope.
You missed out on it. But going off that theme, do you have a favorite fair food? It is the fall.
No, not really. I mean, back home, I'm assuming the fares are different here than.
It is. It is a little bit pumped up more. I think it's actually top 10 as well in the country. How about going off of, really looking back at this team and seeing Halloween coming up really soon, just a week away. What's the craziest Halloween costume that you've had in past?
1 year I was a cheerleader, so I had a really short cheerleading skirt and the cheerleading outfit. But
I'm sure nobody else wants to see that now.
Nope. that was definitely the craziest and also the weirdest.
That's okay. One time I got coaxed into being a ladybug, so I kind of feel that pain. Now, really, kind of going into the finishing out the month, what's the one thing you're kind of looking forward to with the Brahmas?
For this just this month, I think getting these games under the belt and then having that weekend off is going to be pretty nice, and then having games start again. But that weekend that we have off is going to be nice just to relax, hang out with the guys, and everything like that.
So maybe a bonding weekend then for Eric Carreras and the boys, but the off weekend does come over Halloween weekend, so I guess no hockey then for the Brahmas. But for this weekend, Friday night, Saturday night, Odessa Jackalopes in town for the third and fourth home game of the 2014-15 season. 7:30 puck drop both nights. Come out to the NITEC Sports Center. We'll see you there. Until then, I'm Nick Marek, joined alongside a coach and now Eric Carreras. Wishing you all a good night, and we'll see you at NITEC this weekend.